Watch the ride.
Hey everybody, so as previously mentioned, I'm doing Q&As via my Patreon now. So a few days ago on my Patreon I posted a post and said give me some questions for a Q&A, and I'm now going to go through and answer those. Stephen S. Hey man, I recently had my first motorcycle accident involving panic braking and slippery substance on the road. This knocked my confidence a bit. Did your first incident knock your confidence, and if so, what did you do to get over it and back onto the same level as beforehand? I've done a video on this. I've in fact done 2 videos on this subject of having crashes, even having severe crashes and getting back on a bike. I never had that. I had, not to say I'm like, I'm so tough, I never had that. No, I had the nerves. You feel nervous, you feel apprehensive, but it never, like, I knew I would get past it because not riding is just not something I comprehend, so it's something I didn't really have to deal with too badly. Don't try and ride before you're fully healed or before you're fully better. Make sure your bike's up and together. Start in the local area and just work your way back up. Just remember, mistakes happen. You know, you don't fall over in the ice and then for the next 4 days go, oh, not sure about my legs, or trip over something, you know. But you do when it comes to a bike. Believe in yourself. These things happen, you'll learn. And you learn from your mistakes. So, fast recovery if you need any. Hope the bike wasn't too bad, and yeah, don't worry about it. But there is a video on my channel called, like, riding after a crash or something like that. Anthony, what a saint. Hi Spicy, in the future, where would you like the metalworks to be, as in things that you're making and stuff? I don't know. Quite a few of the questions in this are asking basically where do you, I'll get to them, basically saying where do you see yourself in the future, where do you want things to go. I learnt to not do that. I learnt to just keep making the next step. I don't have to think about, you know, if you think about climbing Everest and thinking about reaching the top, it's like, how am I going to ever do that? But if you just go, well, I can get to there, and then I can get to there, and then I can get to there. Don't think about the end goal, just think about step by step. That's kind of the way that I have been doing things. Because with someone with anxiety issues, when you start thinking about the long distant future, and you basically take the moment you're in now and you imagine the trajectory of if everything goes the way it's currently going, what's going to happen? And you're just like, I'm homeless, I'm dead. That's just part of the way that my brain works. So sorry if it's not, you know, I just want to be still making things. I don't know, it develops, like basically making stuff with my hands out of metal that are objects that both can be useful and people enjoy, decorative. I'd like to do bigger things, but I don't have the workspace for it. I'd love to like deck out my garage and get full like 3 work surfaces at the end, but unfortunately the half of the garage is filled with stuff that belongs to my brother, and he's currently in the processes of building a shed, and eventually that will get transferred over there. Then I'll have more space in the garage, and I can't wait till I can like put desks all the way around the outside, just so I can have a different station for a different thing, because at the moment I'm kind of like making one small thing and have to put all those tools away, then get another tool. It's frustrating, but I'm glad that I have some space. God, I really am not keeping to the subject. Let's get on. Jack T. Hey man, if you won the lottery, what would you do with the money? Simple. I would buy a nice small house, maybe in the New Forest. And it's weird to think, actually, I wouldn't want to really move off Hayling, but if I really, yeah, I'd probably want to move to the New Forest, get a little house out there with a workshop, not like a big mansion, no, just like a 2-bedroom house with a nice workshop, bit of land, and just continue doing what I'm doing now, knowing that I don't have to worry about the money side of it, and I don't have to worry about the future. I often wonder, like, what more could I achieve? What more could I do if I didn't constantly worry about like the money side of things? But because it's my job, I have to. But yeah, I just have a happy existence. I might buy some new camera equipment, a couple of bikes maybe, get my car license, get a Land Rover so I can, or a van probably actually, so I can just go and pick up scrap metal and stuff, have a big workshop and be able to do bigger things. It would just be a dream come true to be able to do something like that. Ryan S, good evening, Sir Spicy. Do you have any plans to do any trips on your motorcycle this year? I have many trips planned to the shops. Just joking. Nothing set in stone, like some plan to go somewhere or do something. As I explain to people, because a lot of people ask me this, it's like, I'm self-employed, I'm barely making enough, I have to be here working every single day, 15 hours a day, to try and sustain this, to try and keep hoping to build things for the future that will mean that it won't be so hard. A lot of people have told me that's a bad idea. I keep trying. So no, nothing planned at the moment, I'm afraid. Robert H, do you know anyone else who does metalworks in the area? If so, could you do a collab? I don't know of anyone else that does metalworks in this area. Part of the thing is, like, a lot of people send me stuff that other people have made and being like, you should make this, you should make that. And I'm like, well, not only is that stealing someone else's idea, but also you're then opening, you know, like this resin trend that's happened. I wanted to do resin casts a long time ago and just cast things in. But you know this resin table trend? So many people are doing it now that there's so many people that are making things that I don't know if there's enough customers for like the amount of stuff that's being made. I try to make things that are unique, not necessarily, you know, they're just done differently to the other way that people do them. For my stuff to stand out, it needs to be different from other people's. So that's why I do the things that I do, like making little dragonflies and stuff, if you can see it over there. I've given that to Reno, by the way. She thinks it's cute, and I wanted to give her a present, so I gave it to her. He did actually say, do you know anyone else who does mental art? And then there's a discussion between James T and him about mental art. I knew you meant metal art. In fact, I think I read it as metal art because I'm dyslexic. James T, I'm thinking of a few questions I can't think you've answered before, you know. Keep it interesting. You don't need to answer all of them, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so he's basically asked a load of questions. I'm going to try and get through all of them. First question, do we post our questions on this thread? And you should answer that one on video too. Yes, you do. That's why I'm answering it. 2. Did something or someone inspire your engineering interest, or is it just your general interest for how things work? Since I was born, I have just wanted to know how things worked. I took them apart, I looked at things, I nearly lost the end of my finger to trying to work out how a hinge worked in a door. I learnt how, I learnt how a hinge worked. Yeah. So basically it was just ingrained in me, but my mum's dad was an inventor, and a lot of the family's sort of in construction or engineering or something like that. But unfortunately most of that's completely gone from one side of my family, and the other side are mostly dead. It's not very nice, but so there was no natural progression for me to fall into something like my family did. I've just tried to find my way. 3. The most inspirational people to you and why? Most inspirational people to me are experts in their field. It doesn't really matter what it is. If you get the opportunity to be sat with someone who knows their trade well, listen to them. They will give you the filtered down version, the epiphanies, the shortcuts, the really smart learning things. They will pass them on to you for nothing, and it's invaluable. I've learnt so much from watching people like, well, I won't go into, you know, if I mention one, I'm going to be told I'm missing out a million more, so I won't mention any. But a lot of people have kind of, just from learning a bit here and learning a bit there and just listening to people, that's what inspires me to do. Sorry, I'm currently watching 3 pigeons. 2 of them clearly want to screw, and 1 of them does not. 4. Your favourite MotoGP, WSB, BSB and why? Don't watch it, don't really follow it. The reason I'm not really that interested into MotoGP or motorbike racing is in sports bikes. I find Supermoto more interesting to watch, but I don't really follow any of them because it's just a race. For me, motorcycles aren't watching someone else ride fast. I appreciate what they do and they are very good at it, but for me motorcycling is more about the doing. And it also means you spend time sat watching TV, and I find, honestly, most of them boring, like Formula 1, and I used to love rally, for instance, and then rally became boring, and I used to like Formula 1 and that became boring, and then MotoGP, just, I don't know, it's just, a lot of the drama's gone, it seems. There hasn't been entirely, and I'm not hating on any of them, fully respect what they do, it just doesn't. I'd rather sit and watch a science lecture or someone talking about some engineering thing than watch someone race a bike. 5. The biggest metalworks project that you'd like to do, even if it's unlikely, what would you do? It would be a large animal, and I mean large, like 6 foot tall at least, something like a big thing. But you need a massive amount of scrap to do that, a massive amount of space, ways of moving it, and a customer to sell it to. And also it might take you 6 months, a year to make, depending on what it is. Current mileage of Divi and Derek. Derek's on about 28,000 miles, Divi's on about 54,120 something, because she ticked over the 54,000 just the other day. Or was it? Yeah, it was 50. No, 48, not 54, 48,000. 7. If circumstances would allow, would you ever consider doing something like wreck bike rebuild? I have been quite, well, not wreck bike rebuild, because again that's just copying something someone else does. that's their format. Don't steal someone's format. But I wouldn't mind doing something different, like, well, not different, but it's kind of like what Jake's done, but just getting a bike, cleaning it up, fixing the bits you can, and then seeing basically what you can turn something that's not so interesting to something that's a bit more interesting. I mean, like the Project Divi series that I made took what I consider to be a very bland looking XJ6 and turned it into something that, although it's not a lot of differences, it actually looks a little bit more aggressive, it looks a lot cleaner and smoother, and I just love it. And lots of people, as I say, that series, lots of people went into that series going, I don't like Divi, why would you have bought that bike? And then at the end they were like, okay, it does make up a mechanical and practical sense, and now you've done this to it, yeah, it does kind of look nicer. So, and the sound, you know, it's a lot of it. 8, can I have an on-screen hug? There. Let's move on. Owen C. If you're being held captive by a crazed plastic surgeon who, as he is about to put you under, gives you a choice of double D breast implants or an extra 10 testicles attached, which would you choose? If you don't choose, you get both. No one likes a big bag of balls. So I would have the fake tits, make some money on selling the story, start an Instagram page up, probably do some work to some mechanical stuff, maybe some welding, you know, because I might be able to get a bit more of my cleavage in this image of me trying to lay this bead. Also, which would Reno choose for you? I don't know. Dom, any chances of meet-up happening this year? Possibly patrons only meet. Also planning a weekend trip down to the South Downs from the area north. Recommend any roads and that. So basically any roads you want to ride in the area. Meet-up, as I've mentioned multiple times at this point, there is no plan for a meet until I can find a venue. Someone also said, yeah, why don't you do patrons only? I think there would be about 4 of us, because you have to imagine the people that are in, you know, I have 70-something thousand subscribers. The amount that actually watch the videos, oh, okay, let's reduce the scale. The amount that are on my Patreon, okay, let's just reduce the scale anymore. The people who actually happen to be in this area and can make it, it's me and 2 others. And then I think people were like, well, what the hell, if you were out doing a meet, why didn't you invite more people? It would only come back on me. So I would like to do an open free meet for everyone like we used to, but I don't have a location to do that. I have recently talked about this. I talked about it a couple of weeks before that and a few months before that, and I keep saying it, and I know it kind of sucks, but the reality of it is it's a big event, and it's not something you can, it's not like meeting up your mates at the weekend, like, oh, do you want to pop down there, I'll see you at the weekend, because when you're bringing 300 odd people with you, people start to get annoyed. There's also, you know, I was also thinking about doing it like Rikers. Problem is with Rikers, and I've talked about this already, is that a lot of the people who are from this area that are going to come to the meets are on smaller bikes, and the idea of them going up to London's a bit of an ask. So I'd rather do it local to me, because that's where my hotspot of like people who would actually be here would come to it, if you see what I mean. So logistically it's a problem at the moment. I mean, if I had a load of patrons, then yeah, I mean, it was enough of us, I could do something like that, but at the moment I think that's a bit early days. Jim McJ, as I'm going to call him, what do you want to be doing in 5 years' time? Being happy. Sponge1310, I'm going to use that because you've supplied it. Does anyone at your boat job know about your YouTube channel? Yeah, they know about it. I wouldn't have that job were it not be for the YouTube thing. That's the thing, a lot of people are like, you know, oh, go and get a real job, and it's like, well, the only way I got that work was by being known through YouTube. YouTube is open. If I give up YouTube and everything I'm doing now and just go, you know what, that's it, can't do this anymore, so I'm done, I'm out of money, I'm out of everything, I've given 10 years of my life to this, it's all failed, gone. I will be in a worse situation because I'll be out on the street and I'll just be me wandering around trying to find a job. Currently I have connections and I have things that I can offer people to help people with, and that opens doors for me. So yes, they do know. And they might be watching this. Julian L. What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? African or European? No, Mephisto. No, not Mephisto. It's my Festo. I didn't go back and watch it. I didn't do it. I'm a bad human being. Just every time you ask a question, can you write it phonetically? And then I will never get it wrong again. It was your fault for not doing it. I'm putting it on you. You flipping the blame. Mephes 2? Would the Brighton Pier ever be subject to any of these? You know, the one that's burnt down. I don't think so. It's just a piece of old metal in the sea. I don't know a lot about it. I've been on the current Brighton Pier, the one that's still there. I saw a picture of a duck with a gas mask on. What is the weirdest thing you've received through the mail or PO box? Honestly, there's nothing been that weird. I mean, the weirdest thing has been sent things like a TIG welder or things of value like that are just like, you chose to just do this to help me out. Like, that's weird to me. It's very weird that people want to help me out, because I'm used to people telling me that I should give up YouTube. You're a washed up YouTuber. Actually, no. The HIV testing kit that I got sent twice, that was pretty weird. If you need to swap one thing between Divvy and Derek, what would it be? I would put Divvy's lights on Derek because his headlights suck. Do you have any more snail gifts for Reno, past and future? That's referring to some little welded snails. I go, no, but I have given her the dragonfly. She thinks it's cute. You can't see it because it's not there, but there was the first one I tried to make with a MIG welder. It has no wings. You're never seeing it. It's terrible. She thought it was cute. I was about to throw it in the bin. She's like, it's cute. It's all messed up. And I'm like, so then when I made a nice one, I was like, I have to give that to her. I can't give her the messed up one. Well, she wanted it. Jordan B, regarding to the channel, yourself and life in general, where do you see all in 1 year or 6 months? I don't know. It all depends on how things go. If things I'm about to start trying to sell are going to start going well, if I can make more things, if my channel became more popular, I feel like if enough people got to see what I do, there would be, and even if it was only 1 in 1,000, when I actually really like the things this guy does, I think my channel could grow quite a lot because there's that many people out there, but it's trying to get seen by people. But also, because I don't play the algorithm games so much, I don't try and do any of that stuff, and I also don't try and stick to one subject. And you think of name one YouTube channel out there with as much diverse content on it as mine that's successful. It's a bad strategy. Do you have any plans, goals that you'd like to do this year, like New Year's resolutions? Talked about that at New Year's. I don't do New Year's resolutions. I just have a goal. I don't have dreams anymore or anything like that. I have goals. I'd like to be doing that. And that goal is normally get these clocks done, then do this, then try and learn to do that. Like, a long while ago, my goal was one day I'd like to learn TIG welding. Then I talked about it, and someone sent me a machine, and it was like, well, I guess I'm just going to now put this into practice, and I'm now going to be selling... I'll give you these. These are probably already gone on the store, or they'll be available. But I'm going to make more in the future. But there's going to be 10 of these available. Oh, it won't focus because this is on manual focus. They're keychains made out of TIG welded nuts, and they're really pretty, and I like them. And hopefully, if I sell enough of those, I can buy another bottle of gas and support myself a little bit more. Because the keychain sales have pretty much died, which is fair enough, because I've sold quite a lot of them. Thank you to everyone who bought one. And even sticker sales and stuff like that's gone. T-shirts. I need to make a new T-shirt design, really. But that's not straightforward because it's got. I want to use this like toned thing where we got more of a scale. It's. Yeah. But because I don't use one of these big companies that will do graphic design for you, I use a small company because it means that it benefits two people rather than a huge company. It benefits me a bit more because it means that we can make we can share the profits more evenly, whereas in some of the things like Redbubble, and we can also have much better quality t-shirts, you know, like the yes it's legal filter ones. My t-shirts are great. Like, I've washed the crap out of mine, and particularly the newer ones, and they look great. I'll be honest, I've bought a couple from like Redbubble and places like that and Spreadshirt, and they are the cheapest printed t-shirts I've ever used, and within one wash bits are like scraping off in it. I'm like, and it's more expensive, and they're more expensive than what I charge by about 20%, and it's like, wow, someone's getting screwed here, and it can only really be the customer who has a t-shirt which washes out in 5 minutes. My t-shirts and hoodies don't do that, because basically the guys that do mine know what they're doing and make them as high quality as they can, and before we put anything out, like, we'll make a design, it comes to me, I look at it, and then I will beat the crap out of it. I will wash it repeatedly, again and again and again, like tumble dry it, do all sorts to try and degrade. If after, you know, a few weeks of really beating the crap out of it, it hasn't degraded too badly, then it's fair enough, because that's going to equate into a good few years' use. And as it turns out, with some of them, they just look good as new forever. I mean, It's the thickness of the print on the like the Redbubble t-shirts. They're really crappy. I've gone off on a tangent again. I wasn't supposed to do this. I'm sorry, Jordan. Would you like to expand, explore, or change your channel in any specific way? I would like to expand it in the sense that more people watch the videos. If I could have 20,000 subscribers and 10,000 of them watched every single video, I would be far better off than I am now. Sub count means nothing. It's how many people are watching. And YouTube seems to be taking a bit of a dislike to me just at late because I keep getting videos demonetised. I've been skirting under the radar somehow and it's just demonetised constantly. It's like, what? For what? The one about my eye, that got demonetised immediately, and because it went to Patreon, I've now got to decide that I've got to try and get that manually reviewed before I can make any money on YouTube from it. But I'm just going to let that roll. I'm going to see how long it takes because I make so much more from Patreon than I do from YouTube. It's not so important to go chasing after one video that might make me $3 or $4 because that's the equivalent of what 4 people will contribute to this channel in just a month. It's I would like to do more things. I'd like to go back to doing things I used to do, but unfortunately it's like time availabilities, cost of doing stuff, because, you know, well, not that people think making a YouTube channel costs anything. If you could go anywhere and do anything, what would it be? At any time, in any place, including fiction, non-fiction, and expanded onto this, if you had 24 hours left before you died, what would you spend it doing and with who? If I could go to any place at any time, I'd like to go to before the Big Bang and see if there was a thing to see. That would answer so many questions for us. And before people start going, there was nothing before the Big Bang, there was literally nothing. There was no matter, there was no nothing, there was no time, there was nothing. Or is it one of those bouncy situations? We don't know. And if I had 24 hours to live, I'd probably go for a ride with Reno, have a nice dinner, sit back, have a few rums and just let it come. I mean, what else are you going to do? Jordan D. What in your life do you think has shaped you into who you are most? The one key moment it came down to when I think things really switched and I went from wanting to do something and trying to do something for a long time to fully believing and committing myself to it was, what was it, 2 or 3 years ago? Very nearly 3 years, yeah, this April I think it is, March, when I was at my job. I was depressed. I didn't want to be there. I felt like I was living for nothing almost. I'd come back from holiday and I walked in the door and I was like, "You're right, everyone," because I'd always try and stay positive because, yeah, I know we're in this together. I know it's crap, but the better that we work together, the more fun we'll have together, and the quicker we'll get out of here. Because that was my #1 goal. That's why I was good as a manager in the past, because I played with the team, as it were. Like, we all get this done quicker. We all leave quicker. If you want to get to the bar and have a pint at the end of the night, let's get out there and get it done. And it was when I came to work and someone was just so miserable, just moaning about being there. I was like, and I looked at him and he was quite a bit older than me and I thought, you're never going to get out of this place. You're just going to keep moaning about it. And I do believe that if you're not going to try and change something, don't moan about it so much. Like, if you're doing nothing to try and change anything, don't do that. So I went and got a piece of paper, wrote my resignation letter and gave it to my boss and said I'm done. And I left a few days later, no job to go to, and that's when this whole story happened. But at the point I did that, I felt some sense of self-belief, and then I made things happen. Like, I made this happen, I made something, and then I made thing happen after thing happen, and worked and worked and worked and worked. And admittedly, financially it's not turned out great, but personally I feel like a new person. I'm much happier. Yeah, I still do all the mental stuff that I have, but I've got better handles over that. And at least I'm doing what I want to do, not doing what someone else wants me to do. And that's all I'm trying to do, is just try and do the things that I enjoy doing and hope that it will grow to something. As I say, for a lot of people that risk makes me an idiot. So maybe I am. Barry H. Hey Spicy, my question is, when was the last time you changed your opinion or belief about something major? No, actually, that thing, like, sending humans into deep space is done. I used to think, like, without question, yeah, we'll send people off into deep space. Yeah, there's probably aliens out there we can contact, blah, blah, blah. Once I understood the time differences, the distances, the technology, the physics, the realities of what is out there and if it's out there, and the odds of that, and the size of the universe. And I'm like, I went from like believing that no question we'll go and find some alien life in another solar system, and to no, we're not ever going to probably get there, because the technology we'll need to get there, we will already be gone before we get that. Because that's another one of the things people missed out of that video, because it was highly controversial. Was I was basically saying, like, before we can go and do those things, we need this much technology, and I don't see us getting that far ahead to have the technology to do those things with the current way that things are going. Benjamin S, have you ever been in an airsoft game? I think you might like it. I used to have airsoft when I was a kid, but not proper airsoft, like, you know, the stuff that's, you know, soft air BB guns. Me and some mates, we used to mess around shooting each other. We had goggles on and stuff. You didn't really get hurt. We even did it once with motorcycle helmets, our old motorcycle helmets on. This is when I was really young. We just had them in the garage, and it was fun because you'd be shot in the head, and you go tink, and you knew it was a headshot. So yeah, I did find that great fun when I was a kid. Now I do see the appeal of it, but equally it's quite expensive. It takes up a lot of time, and I am a large target. And I'm also not that agile anymore, because if I start throwing myself around, I'll cripple my back. Since my back's my back's still really iffy, it's been kind of like, it gets worse and better and worse and better. And at the moment it's very iffy. And if I could do one little thing and I could knock myself out for 2 weeks. So, no. But you're right, I would love it. If I can snipe from a tower, yeah. I don't mind being shot eventually. Like, yeah, fine. Same guy, what are you watching in terms of TV at the moment? Any favourite shows, Netflix, Amazon, etc.? I do not watch television in the sense of television. I don't watch any Netflix TV series. I don't watch any Amazon TV series. I watch films on those two platforms, but I don't watch any of the TV series, mainly because they take up so much time. I don't have the time to give to watch them. If I sit there and watch a season of something, you know, over a few days, I've lost a load of time that I should have been doing other stuff. I basically just watch YouTube. During the day, I watch, you know, videos that pop, daily videos, like from channels that I watch, like Good Mythical Morning, occasionally. You know, loads of the channels I've talked about in the past. Like, there's normally 1 or 2 videos from each of those people a day, so I'll watch that. One in the morning, maybe 1 in the afternoon when I'm having lunch, and then in the evening, me and Reno tend to just watch YouTube videos, because that's the way that the TV's gone. But otherwise, we watch films. I know there's Black Mirror and all these different things. Like, Spicy will blow your mind to watch it. It's like, yeah, but they're feature length, like hour long at least episodes, and there's like 20 of them, and there's already 4 series, and if you don't watch from the first one, you won't get the last one, and it's just like, I could never keep up with them. I never could. You have to just spend your life in front of a TV to do that. Aiden C, what's your opinions on the calf racer scene? Do you think you would want to weld your own motorbike frame as a project? No. No. I wouldn't want to make my own motorbike frame as a project, because there are people who do that far, far better. I mean, if it was doing a small weld on, like, attaching a non-important part, yeah, I'd have no problems doing that. When it comes to doing the actual frame itself, I wouldn't do that. It's my I don't trust my welding enough to put my or anyone's life on it. But it's perfectly adequate to make nice-looking things. And the calf racer scene, I like some of them. The traditionals like that. Triumph, what was it called? It was a Bonneville that had been converted to a Brooklands. I did it for Haslemere Motorcycles. Lovely thing to ride. Just, it felt like a connection to a type of bike that I would not get to ride these days. A lot of the modern calf racers, some look nice, some look ridiculous. And it's gone a bit hipstery. Like, no offence BMW, but some of your branding is cringy. Everyone's got an open-faced helmet, everyone's got glasses, everyone's got a leather jacket, that guy in the corner's got a brown satchel, they're wearing blue jeans and brown things, they're riding R9Ts, they're living life to the full, they're being unique and different. And it sells, obviously, because they keep following this, but honestly, I look at this marketing and I'm like, people watch that, and like, I love that R9T, but I will not have it because it's connected with that. Let's try and get through some. Adam E, are you thinking or planning any meetup soon? No, already talked about that one. Keith, what are you in 10 or 20 years' time regarding YouTube, business, hobbies, relations, etc.? Relationships, etc. What do you think you will... When do you think you'll give up motorbikes, bikes, as it would appear they've taken a toll on you? Maybe a nice sensible hatch for the future, for your future young man. I would never give up bikes. I will never give up riding bikes until the point that it's not safe for me to do it anymore, or I can't physically anymore. But trust me, there will be a lot before I physically consider myself unable to ride a bike. 10, 20 years? I don't know. I mean, where do you see yourself in 20 years' time? Regarding YouTube, will YouTube even be here in a few months? Will I even have a job in a few months because of Article 13? Is it going to completely destroy everything I've done for the past 10 years? Who knows? So if I don't know what's going to happen in the next 3 months, how the hell am I going to know what's happening in 20 years? I know that YouTube is not something I'm going to be doing forever, but I'm hoping I might get a name in doing something, or something new will come along. I mean, like this boat work coming along. For all I know, I could do this, I could meet some other people, or that could really take off and it could end up being my main income, and then I can just do YouTube and the metalworks as fun on the side. Maybe something completely different will appear, but if I keep going down this road, more options are going to appear. You know, if you keep walking, there's more chance of you finding another option than if you sit still and just go, well, I guess this is it. Time to die. Relationships, I would hope that I'm still with Reno. I'm very happy. Of course, there's a question into that. People are like, are you going to have kids? No. I said at the age of 18 I didn't want kids. I said at the age of my mid-20s I didn't want kids, and everyone said to me, you will eventually. I'm now 33. I want kids even less. Me and Reno discussed this before we even got together. Yeah, it's something that we've discussed. We're both very happy together, and it's not going to be an issue because it's something we were already accounted for. Everyone is now going to go, oh, well, actually, you don't... Look, there are plenty of people out there who don't have kids. This world would be massively better off if people didn't have so many kids. People would have more money and have more freedom and more fun if they didn't have kids. If our generation... Wow. If only the smart people had kids for a while and the dummies didn't, things would improve. But unfortunately, the smart people are going, sod this kid malarkey, let's have fun. Things are far too unstable. Whereas in people who don't are just like a machine gun going pow, 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 pow. JMC787, as an English, what do you think about Brexit? I'm not going to pass comment particularly on my opinion of it as such. I just want to say, what has happened has happened. What has happened has not happened because someone put a vote up and 17 and whatever million people voted to leave. What happened because of everything that led up to that. And I honestly believe, like the way that Trump got into America, people were so sick of not seeing change that when a ridiculous idea came up, it was like, well, if anything, it's going to make change. Things cannot, you know, people were sick of the status quo. Things were going downhill. They were like, we have to make a change to try and get things to improve. You can't just sit on a sinking ship and hope that somehow it will miraculously not. So whether you voted for or against, you have to kind of accept that that's kind of the way that happened, and the vote proved that because it was so close. It could have been the other way. Could have been the other way, but it wasn't. And that's how democracy works. We have to deal with this, but I don't think anyone's going to question that the way that this was handled, the way that this was put to the people, with the information that was given, is tantamount to an absolute farce. And they're just looking like an absolute laughing stock. I am actually going to make a video probably this afternoon when I've got to go and pick up some bits from a certain Mr. Lamb shop. I want to talk about no deal because, yeah, I'm going to make a video on it. Aaron Holmes, what are your tips advice on practicing for your big bike test while only having a 125 available? It's a lot of money to do, so I want to be as well prepared as I can. Good sites, apps, practice through. I have a playlist. I've spent so much of my time on this thing, and it has helped hundreds of people get onto bikes. It's on a playlist on my channel called Videos for New Riders or Tips for New Riders. The idea is that someone with absolutely no knowledge of bikes whatsoever could learn what the CBT is, how to ride a bike, and every single step along the way of the pertinent information that you need to know. So I could say stuff now, but I won't. I'm just saying watch that playlist. It will help you massively. Just look at the comments. There's so many people. There's little stories like, I'm going to do my CBT soon. I'm like, awesome, let me know how it goes. I've passed my CBT. Then later on I'll be like, oh, I'm going to do my A2. And you can literally watch the progression of some people's motorcycle licenses throughout the comments. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. I love it. It's my, probably, if I deleted, if someone said you have to delete everything off of YouTube apart from one thing, I would leave that one playlist because I know it does the most good. But specifically learning how to ride a big bike on a small bike, you can learn clutch control and stuff like that, but it's actually easier to ride a big bike than it is a small bike, so don't see it as you're at a disadvantage. If you get really proficient on a 125 with like the manoeuvres, I talk like slow manoeuvres and stuff and clutch control, when you got a big bike, it's easy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Also, and he also asked, what is the general health of your bikes? Are they fit for long tours? Are you fit? Am I fit in general? I'm not unfit necessarily, probably could still lose a few pounds, but having lost 12 stone, I'm like, give a fuck. I don't go to the gym like I used to. I used to go to the gym 5 days a week. I can't do that anymore because, well, I can't afford to, don't have the time to, and I would ruin my back. And I know people say, you can still do stuff and save your back. Not with the equipment that they had. But my life is pretty active, so thankfully that's not a problem. The health of my bikes, Derek is tip-top, as good as he's ever been, because I don't use him so much. If I was using him to go up, because this is one thing, I get a lot of hate from people because I've got 2 bikes, and they're like, well, you know, you've got 2 bikes. But it's like, yeah, but I have a Supermoto which I used and had to replace half of the engine and half the cooling system, which cost the cost of the bike almost in the first 2 years. If I kept using that bike, it would not still be running, so that's why I got Divi. Spending £2 grand, which was the same amount of money that I practically spent on getting the DRZ fixed, on Divi, meant that I had a bike that went further, and it meant that it was the workhorse that could take the long journeys that Derek couldn't. So although it does mean that I ride Divi more, it's because I'm trying to, for those days, for those moments that I can get out and ride him, I can use him exactly as intended. And I don't have to worry too much about destroying it. And the value of DRZs are going up, so that's a good thing for me. So there's the answers to your question. Another one, which planet in our solar systems do you find the most interesting and why? Also, if you could have a return journey to visit a planet in our solar system without coming to any harm, would it be rational, blah, 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 which basically, if you could have a choice of a return trip to any planet with no worries about time problems or health or any of that, just go and visit and come back magically. Magic. Favourite planet has got to be Jupiter. I know Mars is like the place we'll probably go next and all of these things, but Jupiter has got so much of a mystery to it, and we owe Jupiter so much. It is a comet magnet. The fact that we're here now is almost guaranteed to be thanks in some way to Jupiter's existence, that at some point a meteorite, an asteroid came in, and it was like, I'm gonna nail that Earth, and then Jupiter was like, I have gravity like you wouldn't believe! Get in here now! And yeah. And go and visit any planet. Neptune, if we can take a submarine and see if there's life in that sea. That is my answer. So we have reached the end finally. In future, please try and keep your questions to maybe a maximum of 2 or 3 per person. That would be more fair, but I answered them all anyway, just for why not. Thank you to all the people that did ask questions, because you are all patrons of my channel, and I thank you for that, because it's you guys that are going to hopefully make the difference between the way things were going and the way things could go. Still tight, I've got to do my part and make the videos that are interesting enough to bring the audience in. I don't pretend that for a second. I know I need to make videos that make people want to support me to make more videos. But I like making the videos that I like to make, not videos that are going to be popular on YouTube to its algorithm and stuff necessarily. I will do that occasionally if it crosses over, but normally I just want to make what I want to make, and I just hope that I can find my audience. I know my audience is out there in the same way that for every man and every woman, or every whatever you consider your mollusk you consider yourself to be, there is someone else out there for you, whether they be whatever. There is always someone out there for you. And there will always be more people that will enjoy my videos, if only they got to see them. So, if you really want to help my channel, other than joining Patreon and stuff like that, share my videos, go to video mine you enjoyed, share my playlists, go to forums and stuff. But people are like, but why would I do that for you? You don't have to. Just saying, if you want to help. Okay, I definitely waffled. This is definitely too long. I am sorry. These may be on the store by now, and if they're not, there'll be more soon, or they've already sold, but thanks. If you enjoyed this video and the other content on the channel, please consider following the links in the description to show your support.